Hi everyone, it's Adriana here, and today I'm product featuring the new Couture Creations Alcohol Ink Stays in Place ink pads. The Alcohol Ink Stays in Place ink pads are the perfect tool for all your stamping needs. You can actually stamp on any non-porous surfaces, for example Yupo paper, but also you can use it directly onto paper or cardstock as a permanent ink, ready to be created with all your other mixed media products. I'm going to run through the first release. These are going to be available very soon, and I'm going to show you the colors that are available. I've also created some swatches so you can actually see the different colors that appears on cardstock and on Yupo paper. So let's start looking at all the colors that are available in this first release. So to start off, we have the matte jet black. This is a pure matte black, and it comes in two sizes, large and also the mini. The mini is already inked, so that's ready to go. These are perfect for all stamping surfaces. Then we have the Arctic white. We also then have all the metallic pearlized one. This is jet black. Then we have gunmetal grey, sterling silver, antique gold, bright gold, and these are all got a pearlized sheen to them, and copper, bronze, and also rose gold. The best part about these Alcohol Ink Stays in Place ink pads is the pearlized sheen to them. I've never seen anything like this in a permanent ink, and that's the best feature about these new ink pads. Also, there is releasing a embossing ink pad for all your embossing powder and glitters, and also some extra ink pad replacements if you want to create your own ink pad colors. Also, where there is the stamp cleaner, which is an all-purpose cleaner for cleaning all your stamps once you've used your inks over them. So I'm running through the colors and showing you some swatches I've made on cardstock and on Yupo paper. First off is the matte black, and as you can see, it's very matte. I also stamped a sentiment there, time to get creative, and also placed a little bit of the color on some cardstock here, so that way you can see the color that's coming through when you stamp it on normal cardstock. It is a permanent ink base. It doesn't smudge when you're using watercolors, alcohol inks, using on normal cardstock. Remember, this is just on normal cardstock. I've just done it on white normal cardstock. The black midi and the black matte large size is perfect for just your normal black inking stamping. The jet black pearlized is the one here. You can see it's got a bit of a sheen to it, and that's the best feature about these permanent inks, is that it has a pearlized finish to it. I haven't seen anything like this in the market. So as you can see, the difference between the matte is very solid, and then with the pearlized, it's got a bit of sheen to it. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it really effective and really pretty. The other color here is the Arctic white, of course using on dark colors. I've done it on black cardstock. If I did it on blue, dark navy blue or dark brown, would be the same result. These are all done on normal cardstock, just to show you the colors. The other metallic colors I'm going to go through now and show you exactly what they look like stamped onto some normal cardstock. This is all done on normal cardstock. I just stamped the same sentiment and also just done a little feature of some cardstock to create the color, to show you the difference. So the first one here is the gunmetal grey pearlized. You can see how it's got that pearly sheen to it, and it's probably the darker one out of the two grey silvery colors. This one here is the sterling silver. It's a lighter grey, and it's still got a shimmery effect. It's really hard to show on the camera here, but in real life it does have a shimmery effect. There's two golds. One's an antique gold and the other one is a bright gold, and again you can see the pearlized sheen up against the colour when it comes through. So the unique features of these alcohol ink Stayz In Place ink pads is the unique ingredient that's in the re-inker, which is the pigment ink that makes, or the pigments that make the pearlized colour come through. So there's a different technique in using these when actually re-inking the ink pad, and I'm going to show you that as well. So this is the bronze pearlized, and you can see the different tones between the bronze, copper and the rose gold. Really nice shimmery effects, and I really love the copper color, and also this rose gold is really pretty. You can see these colors have a different color variance when they're inked on your paper. So here I have the same sentiment that I've stamped with the metallic colors onto Yupo paper. This is just normal Couture Creations white Yupo paper. I just stamped the color on here with sentiment stamp, and just to show you how they do perform very well on non-porous surfaces. And I just want to show you how they do stay on once they're dried, but there is other techniques that you need to be aware of when using them on Yupo paper, and we will have some more extra videos on that to show you exactly how to use them on Yupo paper. Here is the black and the variants on the same again on Yupo paper, and here I have stamped the same sentiment using the black matte, the black pearlized, and also the white Arctic white on black Yupo paper, all stamped beautifully. So I'm now going to show you how to apply the ink on your alcohol ink Stayz In Place ink pads. When you buy your product, it comes in a package like this, and inside it has the re-inker and also an ink pad ready to be inked. On the back of the packaging, have a read of that. There's some great tips on how to use the ink pads, and also some other instructions there. So when you take out your ink pad, it is not inked. It is a brand new ink pad. It's a foam ink pad, and it comes with your re-inker. There's 12 mils of liquid in there. There is also the pearlized pigment in the bottom, so you really need to give that a really good shake. When you open up your ink pad, you also get a squeegee, a little plastic squeegee to move the alcohol ink over your foam, and also a nice clear protective seal that you mustn't throw away. Always keep that on the top of your foam so it keeps your foam nice and moist, so it doesn't dry out so quickly. With the squeegee, you just apply it. Once you apply the ink, you just give it a good clean. That way you can reuse that squeegee. Don't throw that away. And I do have another tip on showing you how to save these little squeegees so you're not looking around for it. We have the glue spots. These are great for gluing on papers and other embellishments onto your paper crafting projects. If you just grab a little circle of that and place it underneath in the cavity of your ink pad, you can actually place your little squeegee on that, and you can easily remove that, so that way you don't lose that little squeegee, because it does come in handy to have that all the time. So this is how you apply your ink onto your surface. There is no need to cover the whole surface. All we want to do is cover a section in the middle. So once you've actually shaken the bottle completely, pushing a little few drops down the center of your foam ink pad. And I'm actually pushing the bottle to make sure the ink is going through the foam in that section. And as you can see, I'm not doing the whole ink pad. There's no need to do the whole ink pad. You're just wasting your re-inker. Doing this, you will only use a little bit of your re-inker. You have so much fluid in there that's great for when you want to re-ink. With your squeegee, you're just slowly pushing the ink across the ink foam pad, and you can see there's still some excess there, moving it across and then moving it down so that all the ink gets absorbed into the foam pad. As you can see the pearlized finish to these ink pads and ink color, and that's the main feature of these Stayz In Place ink pad. It has a pearlized finish for when you're doing all your stamping. Now remembering always to clean your squeegee with a little cloth, a little baby wipe. That way you can use this squeegee over and over again. If you have to add some more ink in time, this is the way you do it. You just apply a little bit over where you've already placed it. That way you're just reacting the ink as well, because actually adding on more ink when the other surface is dry will reactivate the whole ink pad of where you already added the ink. And also remembering, when you're not using the ink pad, make sure you cover it with the clear film plastic that's included in your ink pad. Secure your little squeegee underneath and close the lid. That will ensure your ink pad stays nice and moist for a few more times before you have to re-ink it. Another important tip I want to share with you as well is that alcohol inks and alcohol re-inker does dry out, and you will find that when you haven't used this ink pad for a while, it will dry up. Now of course you can add the re-inker, making sure again you actually shake the bottle really well to break up the pearlized pigment in it. But also we have found that you can use the alcohol ink blending solution, and you just dab a few drops onto the surface of your ink pad, and that will reactivate the alcohol solution and the alcohol ink color that's already on the ink pad. And with your squeegee, just blend it through, and you will find that that will reactivate, and you can use that as it is, like that. So I just wanted to show you that that's another tip, that if you do find that the ink pad will dry up, and it will dry up, it's natural because it is alcohol based ink, solvent ink, you just place a little bit of the alcohol ink blending solution and it reactivates the color again. So now I'm going to show you how to stamp with the alcohol ink Stayz In Place ink pads. I have a piece of Yupo paper that I've already designed a design with some alcohol inks. I think I used slate alcohol ink. I'm placing my script stamp on a stamping block, and with the ink from the alcohol ink Stayz In Place ink pad, I'm just dabbing it over the actual stamp. And this is the way you use the ink pads, so you get coverage all over, and then just placing it where you want it on the Yupo paper. So I have alcohol ink that is completely dry, and that's one tip that I can suggest to you, that if you've done a design on Yupo paper with alcohol inks, it must be completely dry before you start stamping with the alcohol ink Stayz In Place ink pad. It is imperative that you do that. It will not smudge and it will not bleed if you follow those guidelines. So as you can see, the beautiful antique gold is coming through on the Yupo paper, and it's smudge free, and I really like the effect of that color on this color of Yupo paper. Again, remembering to cover your ink pad. Now to clean your stamp, it is really recommended that you clean it straight away, and I've just got a little baby wipe here to clean off any excess off your stamp. And if you still find there's some more ink on your stamp, there is the Couture Creations all-purpose stamp cleaner. I just spray a little bit of that over in my baby wipe and then just apply it over the stamp to take any ink off my stamp. We really recommend that you clean your stamp after every use when you've finished using your stamp. So we're very excited to release the alcohol ink Stayz In Place ink pads. These are a brilliant tool for all your stamping requirements, and the best thing of the flexibility of being able to use this on non-porous surfaces as well as paper. Be sure to visit us online for more inspiration using alcohol ink Stayz In Place ink pads on couturecreations.com.au. Happy stamping and see you soon. Bye for now.